Hello, everyone. Today we'll talk about the human digestive system. The purpose of the digestive system is to break down food into smaller and more simple molecules so that the body can absorb and use it. The digestive process starts with ingestion, whereby food will enter the gastrointestinal tract through the mouth. Then the food is pushed down into the stomach. Most of the organs of the digestive system are made up of smooth muscle, and they are able to push the contents along by contracting in a process known as peristalsis. Then the third step is mechanical breakdown, whereby food is broken into smaller pieces. This part usually starts in the mouth where the teeth crush the food into smaller pieces. Next, digestion starts to occur. Digestion is the process of having food mixed with digestive enzymes which break the food into smaller molecular forms. By doing so, the body can better absorb and utilize these nutrients. For some foods, digestion can start in the mouth where saliva will start to break down fats and starches. The next process is absorption, where nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. This mainly occurs in the small intestine. Lastly, defecation occurs, whereby the remaining food is expelled from the body through the anus. Now, let's cover the parts of the digestive system that make this process happen. Starting off, the teeth are used to cut and crush food in the mouth, starting the mechanical breakdown process. The tongue is a muscle inside the oral cavity that aids the teeth with mechanically breaking down food. The palate is the roof of the mouth. It consists of a hard, bony part, and then they'll have a softer part towards the back. The hard bony part separates the nasal and oral cavities, and the softer part towards the back works with the uvula to prevent food from entering the nasal cavity when swallowing. The uvula also secretes saliva into the mouth and throat. There are three main salivary glands. The sublingual is closer to the front of the mouth, the submandibular is near the bottom of the mouth, and the parotid lies close to behind the back of the oral cavity, behind the tongue. These glands produce and secrete saliva, a liquid substance that plays many roles. It maintains the pH and lubricates the oral cavity. It contains minerals that aid in protecting the teeth. And more importantly, saliva contains many enzymes that start the digestion of starches and fats, and some of these enzymes also have antimicrobial properties that further help to protect the teeth from bacteria. The pharynx is commonly referred to as the throat, and it's the area that connects the nasal and oral cavities to the esophagus. The epiglottis is a small flap that covers the entrance to the windpipes when swallowing, so that food and liquids don't enter the respiratory tract. And the esophagus is a hollow tube that directs food down to the stomach. Food doesn't just simply fall down, though. It gets pushed along by muscular contractions called peristalsis. Moving on, let's look at some of the lower parts of the digestive system. The esophagus leads food into the stomach, which mixes food with gastric acid and other digestive enzymes to create partially digested food known as chyme. The stomach's inner wall is lined with mucus to prevent damage from gastric acid. The release of chyme from the stomach into the first section of the small intestine, called the duodenum, is controlled by the Pyloric sphincter. This is so that food doesn't prematurely leave the stomach when it's not ready to leave yet. The liver is a large organ with multiple functions, but for the digestive system, it creates a substance called bile that aids in digesting fats. Through the common hepatic duct, bile is moved into the gallbladder where it is stored. Then bile is released into the duodenum through the common bile duct. The pancreas creates various hormones, but its main role in the digestive system is that it creates pancreatic juice, which has enzymes that assist in digestion. The pancreatic juice is released into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. Now, let's go over the intestines. The first part of the small intestine is called the duodenum. Its main role is to prepare chyme for digestion by having it mixed with various enzymes from the pancreas, gallbladder, and stomach. The small intestines are lined with villi. They are these small finger-like projections that are each lined with smaller micro-villi. This is to increase the surface area of the small intestines so that nutrients can be better absorbed. The second section of the small intestine is the jejunum. In this section, most of the nutrients are absorbed. And the last section of the small intestine is the ileum. It continues to absorb nutrients but mainly reabsorbs bile and enzymes. The large intestine primarily absorbs water and moves the remaining waste through the rest of the GI tract for disposal. The movement of contents between the small and large intestine is controlled by the ileocecal valve. It prevents contents from refluxing back into the small intestine. Now, let's go over the parts of the large intestine which make up the rest of the gastrointestinal tract. The first section of the large intestine is the cecum. It starts absorbing salt and other electrolytes, and it mixes digested food with mucus for lubrication. Then the contents move up through the ascending colon, which absorbs water and electrolytes. Where the contents then reach the transverse colon, here any remaining water and electrolytes are absorbed. Through peristalsis, the contents are then moved to the descending colon, which primarily just stores the waste before transferring it into the rectum. The rectum will temporarily store the waste, known as feces, until it is expelled from the body through the anus in a process called defecation. And that is the basic overview of the human digestive system.